Hey everyone, welcome to the September edition of Community Call from ToolJet, and I would like to thank all of you for joining this call today. In today's call, we'll be building a fleet management system with ToolJet database. So let's jump onto the agent of the call directly. So we'll be starting the call with some new updates on ToolJet database and SQL data sources. Then we'll be showing you a demo of the fleet management system. Then we'll go over the table schemas and then we'll start building the application in App Builder. Lastly, we'll be opening the floor for Q&A. In case if you are having any questions or queries in between, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Some of the recent updates on ToolJet database are we have introduced composite primary keys and also we have added the foreign key relations in between different tables of ToolJet database. With the help of the foreign key relations, you can now join your tables and you can get cumulative data of multiple tables in your UI. Talking about the updates for the SQL data sources, we have introduced a parameterized query in MySQL and Postgres. So now, as you can see in the presentation that we have a SQL parameter option where you can add your keys and values and then you can introduce that directly in the SQL query. Let me show you a quick example of how you can use it. In this example, I'll be showing you how you can use parameterized queries. As you can see, we have a get student Postgres query here and we are running a simple get query. So if I run this, you can see that we are getting the data. Okay. And here we are getting data for all type of cars. Specifically, you can see car is a Boolean value. So it is showing like this. And now what I want is I want to add a filter where I just want if the user has a car or doesn't has a car. So if I click no, it should just give me the values which doesn't have cars. And in order to do that, I'll be using the parameterized query. So in key, I can add has car, and in value, I can just take the value whatever the radio button has. Okay. And here I'll be adding this particular key. Okay. So I can write where car equals to colon has car. So you have to use colon in order to use the parameterized query. Okay. Now when I run this, and if I see in the UI, you can see since it is no, we are just getting the filtered value directly from the database. And if I click on yes, I have added an event of running this query. That's why it got run automatically. So I'm just getting filtered value with the people who has the car. Okay, this is how you can introduce your parameters directly in your queries using the SQL parameters over here. Before we start building the application, I'll be showing you a quick demo of fleet management system. So this is how the UI of fleet management system looks like. You can see that we have fleets. Here are all the fleets. You can even add your fleets from this vehicle number, your company name, model, and status. You can add these values and you can submit and it will get added. Then we have check-ins where you can see that every time I click on a fleet vehicle number, it will just show you the corresponding values. And here you can, change the value, and once you click on update, it will get updated. You can also delete your check-ins here from here. If you want to create a check-in, just click on check-in and fill up the information and you can submit it and it will get saved and it will show over here. Coming to the analytics, we have analytics for fuel consumptions, mileage, fuel cost for each of these vehicle and the status. Okay. So this is what we are going to build. So let's jump on to the app builder to build the application. So let me first show you the schema for the application that we are going to build. That is a fleet management application. So we have fleets table where we store all the fleets data like the vehicle number, year, company, model, etc. Then we have check-ins table where we have a foreign key relation with the fleets table as a fleets ID. And then we store all the check-in data in this particular table. So yeah, these are the two tables that we are going to use, and now we'll start building the application. So this is the blank canvas and let's start building. Let me drag and drop the text component first, which will be the header. Here we'll be adding the ToolJet brand header, so it will be ToolJet, and we'll add we'll make it 24 here. Also, the color of the entire application will be in a shade of blue, so we'll be using that only for different components. Okay, let's make it bold and let's add some letter spacing. Okay, cool, this looks good. Let's add the second header, that is the fleet management system. I'll write fleet management, and this will be different. Okay, let's make it right aligned. Letter spacing should be normal, and yes, this looks good. Let me make it here. Yeah, this. So we'll add a tabs component now. So there we go. Okay, stretch it to the bottom. Cool. And now in this tabs component, we'll be having 3 tabs. The first will be for fleets, second will be for check-ins, and third will be for the analytics. Cool. Let's delete the irrelevant components from the tabs. Okay, we'll be needing this table, so let's cut this and let's put it here. Cool. Let's increase the height, and also we do not want borders here, so we'll be making the borders to white. Okay, cool. Let's make it little, yeah. We'll be adding a header here as well, which will be for fleet overview. Okay, and this will be 20 and bold. Cool. Last thing here is the modal component, so we'll be adding modal here. Okay, let's stretch it little. Yeah, cool. This is the heading, this is the modal component, and the table. So this is pretty much we need to have in this tab. So we also need to update the modal, so let's do that now. We'll be adding add fleet. Here also it will be add a fleet. Let's make it small, and the height will be 360. Cool. Now in this modal we'll need to add some text input component, because this is an add fleet modal, so we need to add inputs so that we can add that fleet into the database table of fleets. So we'll start with the first one, that is a text input for vehicle number. Okay, could be vehicle number. Okay, then second is year, so we'll keep it here and it will be here. Then third is the company, so we'll add this company. Then we have model of the vehicle, so this will be model, and last is the status. And for status we will be having a drop down component, so let's search for drop down. Okay, this will be status, so this will be status of the fleet that we are having in for the company. So we'll be putting the option labels as is if the fleet is active, if the fleet is inactive, or it is under maintenance. For option values we'll be keeping it in smaller case for inactive, and we'll just remove the under and maintenance. Okay, cool. Last thing that we're left with here is the submit button. So here we go, submit button. Let's keep it like this. Cool. This will be submit. Okay, let's increase the height a bit. Yeah, now if I put it here, okay, this looks better. Cool. So we are done with pretty much everything that we need as a part of UI for this tab, and now we'll start adding the queries. So let's start building queries. The first query would be the get fleets. Okay, this will be fleets, and operation will be list rows. We want to run this on application load, and if I run this query, okay, we're getting the data. Let's connect it with the table get fleets data. Okay, cool. Here it's fine if we do not show the IDs, and okay, cool. So these are all the fleets, and now next query that we're going to build is for the add fleet. Okay, so it will be add fleet, table name again will be fleets, operation is create row, and here we'll be adding the columns. Okay, for year, for company, for model, and for status. Okay, let's get the component names here. Text input 1, text input 1 dot value. Okay, second is text input 3 for year, then we have company for text input 4, for model we have text input 2, for drop down 1. Cool. We also need to add 3 event handlers here. Once the query is successfully completed, we want to show a pop-up for success, that is fleet added. We also want to close the modal, so we'll be using close modal 1. Third is to refetch the data inside of the table, so we'll be running the query of get fleets. All right, cool. We also want to add a loader, so whenever we refetch the data from the table for the table, so we will be showing the loader. In loading state, let's add queries get fleets and is loading. All right, cool. Let's try to add one fleet over here. We'll be adding a vehicle number, let's say Year will be 2021. Company, let's say Ford. Model number can be KA21, and let's say it's inactive. Okay. If I submit this, okay, I haven't added an event handler to the button, so let's quickly add event handler. Add fleet. Cool. Now when you click here, it should run the query. Yeah, fleet added and data got refreshed, and we are getting the data here. Cool. So you're done with everything that we need for this particular tab. UI is done. Queries are also connected. Let's jump on to the next tab, that is the check-ins. In check-ins, again, we'll be having a table and some input fields so that we can show the check-in data. Okay. So we'll start with a small header. So header, I can just take it from this tab, put it here. The header name will be details. Okay, and here also we'll be having a modal component. That let's keep it here. Then we'll be having a table component, and we'll have to shrink it to this much. Okay. And in this table, we'll be just changing the UI for the table, where we will tweak with some visibility. We do not want filters, sorting, search, and pagination for now. Let's remove it. Add button also, download button also we do not want, and yeah, cool. And we will be removing the borders as well, so let's change the border to white. Okay, cool. And stretch it a bit, and this looks okay. Now we'll start adding the input fields here as well. So first will be for the vehicle number, and it will be a drop down. So let's change this to drop down. Okay, so here we'll be using the custom label. So we'll change this to this, and I will add a label here for vehicle number. Vehicle number, and the size can be 13. Okay, you can put it here, decrease the size to this. All right, cool. Yeah, we can keep it here like this as well. Cool. And in this drop down, we'll be connecting the data that we're getting for fleets. So the only thing that we want from that table is the vehicle number. So I'll be just writing a JavaScript here for getting me just the name. So if you see, it's queries get fleets data, and I'm just mapping out the vehicle number. And for option values, I'll be using the same, but the only thing that I need to change is the ID, because we'll be storing the fleet's ID, because that's the foreign key that we have in the fleet in the check-ins table. So yeah, cool. So this is done. Now let's add the other input components. Okay, we have input for driver name, so let's keep it here. This will be driver. Then we have a date component for adding the check-in date, so this will be date. Okay, date. And for label, let's copy this. vehicle number, let's change this to date. Then we need to add mileage, fuel, and fuel in dollars. So we'll be taking a number input. This will be mileage in mileage per gallon. Okay, let's make it full. Okay, similar to this, we'll be having some other inputs. Let's keep it here, and this will be fuel in gallons. Okay, this and there we go. This will be fuel in dollars. Okay, cool. Now we'll need a text area component for notes. Let's get a label first. So label will be notes, and it will be text area. Default value we can remove. Placeholder text can be enter note. Okay, so yeah, let's increase the height a bit, and yeah, we'll be adding two buttons here now. First button will be for update, so that we can update the values. This will be update, and styles can be background will be white. I'm just taking the color code, and text color will be, and loader color also, let's keep it blue. All right, now we will need to add one last thing. Let's change this to, yeah, better. And yeah, we'll be adding a delete button here, so that we can delete the fleet item as well. This will be delete, and this button will be changing the color of border. So for delete button we'll need a shade of red. So we'll be adding, the background will be white, text color will be red, and border color will be this. All right, so we are done with the UI except one thing, that is the modal. So we'll be changing the modal here as well, and we'll be needing pretty much all similar kind of components here. So we'll be just copying them here. Okay, you can keep it like this. Okay, and vehicle number will be now. Let's add the next input, that is the driver name. Let's copy this and open the modal and paste it here. Okay, let's keep it here. Okay, cool. let's add the date picker. Okay. And this will be the similar one, so we'll take it from here. This will be date. Okay, cool. Next up we want the number input. Mileage. I guess we can keep it here itself. Increase it. Okay. Then there is fuel. And then we have the fuel in dollars. Okay. All right. Last is the notes. Get the text area. This can be little inside. Yeah. Okay, we got the notes, but I think we need to increase the size of the modal component. Also, we need to change the title to check in. Okay, this can be here as well, and height can be 520. Okay, so now this text area will go here. Here also we need one label that is for notes. Let's get it from here. This will be note, and text area will be like this. All right, let's add a button now, and then we'll be done with this model. Okay, this will be submit. Cool. So we are done with the UI for this particular tab as well, and now let's start adding the queries. Okay, first query will be, of course, to get the check-in data. That will be get check-ins. Okay, and this will be join of tables. So first will be the check-in table, and then we'll be joining the fleet table as well to this. Okay, fleets, and yeah, let's run this. Cool. Now let's connect this. Get fleet. Sorry, we need to make it result. Yeah, check-in. Okay, we're getting it here. Cool. We do not need. We just need one from this. That is the fleet vehicle number, and rest of them will be just deleting it from the table. Okay, So let's do that. After we delete all these columns from the table, we'll be connecting it with the input components on the left hand side, so that every time we click on the vehicle number, it will show it on the left hand side, the corresponding all the details for the vehicle number on these inputs. Okay. So we need to highlight rows. So once I click this, it should highlight the row, and by default we'll be adding check-ins ID as 1. I guess that should work. Alright, so this is working now. So now let's start connecting the table with the input components, and to do that we'll be using the selected input value of the table component. So what we'll be doing is, in default value we can add components table to selected row and the fleet ID, and this all items you can get it from here. So you can see that we are having all these uh, values for the table that we are getting from the query. And once you do that, and every time I change this, you can see the vehicle number is changing because we are changing the selected value. Okay, similar to that we'll be having here the driver name, and if you check it here, the driver name is check-ins driver. So we'll go here in input, and we will be adding the default value. It will be check-ins score driver name, so that is driver. Okay, similarly we'll go with dates. Default value will be date. I guess it will be check-ins check-in date. Okay, now next we have mileage. So for mileage it will be check-in mileage. This will be fuel quantity, so it will be check-in fuel quantity. This will be the price, so it will be check-ins fuel price. Okay, last is the notes, so this should be check-in note. Okay, cool. So now every time you change the value inside this, you can see that everything is getting updated. Now what we want is the reason we have done this, because we want to make this an update function, so that anyone can just modify this. For example, I want to change the vehicle number for this, so I will just change the vehicle number to this, and if I select update, it will update that in the database. Okay, similar to delete. So if we want to delete a particular number, for example this one, I should be able to do that. So before we do update and delete, let's start with creating a check-in. So it will be uh, add check-ins. Okay, check-ins, and we will be creating a row here, and let's add columns. Okay, fleet ID, driver, check-in date, mileage, fuel quantity, fuel price, and note. Okay, it's drop down 3, so we'll be adding components drop down 3 and value. Okay, then we have driver, that is input component 6, text input 6, then we have date picker 2, then we have mileage, that is number input 4. We'll be adding number input 4. Then there is fuel quantity, so which is a number input 5. let's add number input 5 here. Then we have number input 6, and last is the text area 2. Okay, cool. So we have connected everything. Here we'll need 3 event handlers again. First will be to show the success message about check-in successful. It will be check in full. Okay, then second we have to close the modal. For that we'll be doing close modal, and here we have to select the modal name, that is modal 2, and last is to run the query again to get the data for get check-ins. So we are getting the check-ins. We'll be updating the table by adding a loader here. So loading state will be queries get check-ins and is loading. Okay, if I open this, and here also we need to add the add check-in as the query which we want to run. So add check-ins. Okay, all right, so everything looks good here. Let's quickly add the one that we created, the fleet that we created. Okay, let's see. Let's say driver name is Patrox, and date can be let's change the date to 24. Anything in January. Mileage can be 20. Fuel in gallons can be 8. Fuel price can be, let's say, $7. The note can be, let's say, headlight are not working. Okay, now if I submit this, check-in successful, and when I click on this, it should show me the corresponding data. Yeah, cool. So this is done. Now we are just left with 2 of these, so let's do that. Let's duplicate the query, and we'll be doing the update rows here. Okay, in filter we'll be adding id, and it should be equal to component table 2 and selected rows, and it should be the check-in id. Okay, and here again we have to do the same stuff. We have to add a fleet id, driver, check-in date, mileage, fuel quantity, fuel price, and notes. Okay, yeah, and here it's drop down to, so it will be components drop down to and value. Okay, then there is driver input 5, it will be text input 5. Then we have date picker 1, so this will be date picker 1. Then we have number input 1, it will be number input 1, number input 3 and number input 2. So let's copy this, number input 3 and 2. Okay, and last is the text area 1. Okay, yeah, cool. So here also we need to add an event handler which is already there since we have duplicated the previous query. Check in updated. Also we do not need to close the modal here. We'll just remove it and we'll rerun this query. Okay, and let's make it update check-in. Okay, similar to update we'll be doing delete as well, so let's create the query for delete as well. This will be delete rows. Similar to that, we will be adding equals to it should be components table to selected row and check-in ID. Okay, and once that is successful, we'll be showing that check-in deleted, and we will refetch the data. Okay, this will be delete check-in. Okay, all right, so queries are created. Let's connect them with the buttons. This will be update check-in, and if I want to change it, let me add Smith. Okay, let's change the name of the driver to Patrick Smith, and if I click on update, check-in updated, and now if I go here again, you can see the driver name is updated. You can change any of these values for that matter. And last is delete. So if I click on delete now, it should delete this check-in. Before that, we have to run this query on clicking for this button. Okay, all right, now once you click on it, it will run the query and it will delete it from here, so it is not there in the fleet number. All right, so we're done with the second tab as well, and now we'll move to analytics. In analytics, we'll be having 4 charts. Out of 4, 3 will be the bar charts and 1 will be the pie chart. So let's do that. So let's go for charts. Okay, let's change this to this much. Let's increase width a bit, and yeah, cool. This will be bar chart, and let's make it fuel consumption, and let's copy this and paste it. Okay, second will be the mileage. Third will be the fuel cost, and last is the pie chart, that will be for the status of the fleet. Okay, so this will be status. Okay, and let's make this a pie chart. Cool. So UI for this is done. Let's start creating queries. So since all of these are charts, we need to add the chart data in this particular data structure, and to convert our data into this data structure, we need to create a JavaScript query which will help us transform the data. Okay, so let's do that now. So we'll be adding JavaScript code. This will be chart data. Okay, let's increase the size, and this should run on application load. Let's increase the size here. Okay, and there we go. Cool. The first thing, we need to get the data, and we'll be getting the data from the queries. So we're getting the data from check-ins and fleet data from fleets, which the queries we already have with us. Okay. Uh, then we'll be creating a function which will export all the data that we need. So first is get mileage, where we are just transforming the data. Then that is for fuel consumption. Then that is for fuel cost, and last is for status. Okay, so all these functions will help us transform the data for each of the uh, charts that we just built in the UI. Okay, now we just need to return all of these. All right, now we can just run this once. Okay, we are getting all the data here. Yeah, now let's quickly connect them to all of these charts. Okay, let's start with mileage data, this one. So I can go to chart data and just put queries chart data and mileage data. And now if you check this, you can see the mileage for each of these. Yeah, similar to that, let's add for fuel consumption. This is for fuel consumption, fuel consumption data. Okay, okay, we're getting it here. Then there is fuel cost, so it will be fuel cost data. And last is the status. Okay, I guess I added the, okay, here we need to add. Then here will be the status data. Okay, all right, so we were able to show pretty much everything. We have the status, inactives are more, there are some in maintenance, 3 are active, right? So yeah, this is the basic overview of how you can build applications like fleet management systems. So yeah, you can go to check-ins, you can go to fleets, you can add fleets, you can, if you want to modify this application to next level, you can also add CRUD operations in each of these fleets, check-ins and analytics as well. You can add filters, and you can do a lot more things to update your fleet management application and to enhance your experience of building and using this type of systems. So now we'll be opening the floor for questions. In case if you have any questions related to the application that we have built, or any questions in general about ToolJet or any other functionalities or feature, feel free to drop them in the chat. Also, feel free to check out our tutorials on blogs.tooljet.com. In case if you want to contribute to ToolJet, or you want to give some feedback, or have any questions or queries related to ToolJet, I would recommend you to join our open Slack community. You'll find the link to the community in the description. Thank you so much everyone for joining. See you in the next community call.